a slide talking about the ecosystem of the players. This is another area where there is sometimes confusion. So we just want to talk about how this works from the sending FI side and the receiving FI side. So on the sending FI side, first of all, let's talk about in the situation of send and receive, and then we'll talk about receive only. So in the send and receive, consumers and businesses would be able to go into digital banking and initiate credit transfers or credit pushes. Also requests for pay if we want to start, again, with that message, creating that through the full life cycle. And then what happens is that's going to go from digital banking to a payment gateway service provider, also known as a third-party service provider. Now, these payment gateway service providers, all of the cores are developing payment hubs, connectivity systems. They have different names for them. And then there are a number of players beyond the cores that are also fulfilling this role. And then what happens is this payment gateway service provider connects to both networks, both the RTP and FedNow networks, and then those transactions flow to the payment gateway service provider of the receiving FI. Now, the other thing that happens is on transactions that are, actual monetary transactions like the credit push or receiving that payment, the payment gateway service provider will also integrate with the core. So if somebody is doing a credit push, the payment gateway service provider would debit the account on the core before the funds flow over the networks over to the receiving side. And then again, on the receiving side, those transactions will come into the payment gateway service provider or third-party service provider, post to the core when applicable. And then as far as presenting the request for pay, request for information to account holders, that would be done in their digital banking experience. So we just want to set the stage there, again, helping people understand all of the different players that are involved in the ecosystem and the different parties that you'll need to have relationships with in order to make this happen.